Ladies and gentlemen, welcome out to another episode of the Mix Behind the Mic podcast. I'm your host, Harry McCluskey, with my sidekick, Keith DeAngelis. And today we're talking about something that didn't even exist a few years ago. Something brides are now saying they couldn't possibly live without on their wedding day.
And it's not even photo or video. It's something completely different, right?
If you've been seeing wedding content creators all over social media, today we're breaking it all down. Today's guest, Kerrianne Mullen of Content by Kerr, coming in to give us all the tea about this hot new thing in the wedding business, content creators. Kerr, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Excited to have you.
I'm hyped.
So, backstory, me and Kerrianne did a wedding 2 years ago, we'll say. Shout out to Gina. We're big fans of Gina.
My second wedding ever.
And to tell you the truth, and let's actually get into this real quick, how I met Kerrianne, and we always say, like, can we curse on this pod or not?
We do.
But how I met Kerrianne was she was on the dance floor with her iPhone during a first dance, and I literally was like, look at this bitch over here. Like, what is she doing? And that wedding was also my first wedding with a content creator. So it was my first experience with it too.
That stage and that bar high, right?
Like, exactly. So, all right, take us from the beginning. How did Content by Kerr start? Did you fall into this? Did you pursue this? Give us the backstory.
Right. So that wedding that I met you at was actually my second wedding. I had met Gina. She was a bridesmaid / makeup artist at the first wedding I ever did. My cousin married a girl, Casey. Casey calls me up. Hey, what are you doing? Such and such date. And it just so happened to be like 2 weeks later. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow, let alone 2 weeks from now. Like, why? And she said, can you be Kristen, her sister's content creator? I'm like, what the hell is that? She's like, you would be so good at it. Like, my mom, shout out Casey's mom, thought you would be the perfect person. So I'm like, all right, I mean, sure, why not? I signed up for something. I didn't even know what I was signing up for, but I was told that I'd be the perfect person for it. So I believed them. So I started doing my research. I'm like, wow, I already basically do all of this at any event I go to,
Right.
a wedding or just out at the bar.
Sure.
And then from there, her makeup artist hired me. And then from there, her hairstylist and a bridesmaid hired me. And
Gina was one of them?
Gina was the makeup artist that hired
okay.
me. And she was the second wedding I ever did. But the first wedding I showed up, I was in a wedding guest dress because I, again, never did it before.
Sure.
Wasn't sure what to wear. And someone actually told me to sit down because they thought I was a guest in the middle of the aisle. So then I was like, okay, I still got to dress nicely, but I got to dumb it down a little bit.
What did you wear at Gina's wedding? Because I wish I could picture what you were wearing.
I wore a black dress with a jean jacket and sneakers. And the key is sneakers. I don't know how many times I say this, but comfort is key on a wedding day for sure.
So, boom, you did one. You steamrolled and did a couple from one group of friends or one circle almost to start?
Yeah, Kristen's wedding got me 4 bookings.
Okay.
And then from Gina's wedding, it got me another 2 or 3. And then it really in the beginning was just friends or friends of friends. And then Gina put on Facebook this whole review and shouted me out on there. And then it kind of blew up. I joined all the bridal pages. And then it just started to become a thing of like, who used a content creator, like someone that's affordable, yada, yada, yada. I started my pricing very, 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 very low. But I love it. I love doing it. It didn't really feel like work to me. It still doesn't feel like work to me. So yeah, now I'm here. I've done 33 weddings in 2.5 years. And I have also done like smaller events at this point too.
33 weddings so far.
33.
Shout out to Studio 33 that we're in. I know. That was always like
Shit.
perfect.
No.
Studio 33.
That's what we call the studio. So it's always a good number for us. When was it that, I don't want to say that like you made this a business, because I mean, I guess we can ask that question, but like, when did you realize that this was like a niche market and that like this, here's the thing. I think it's here to stay. People say it's fads. I'm not sure, but like, I don't think it's going anywhere.
Not with the way social media is now. 100% here to stay.
Yeah.
Like it's here. The way the Gen X and everyone's
Yeah.
coming up. Is it Gen X? No, Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Yeah, I missed that a
Well,
lot.
and I feel like this is something that people get confused. They hear content creator and they immediately think like stage TikTok. They think that they have to do the following the voice of the song and we take 6 takes. That is honestly the least thing that I do as a content creator. I do so many more things at this point before I even do like a staged, planned TikTok. But I got into this or I officially became content by Care by people asking me to see my work. And so then I'm like going through my shared albums and I'm like, I'll send you some videos. And then I'm like, okay, I guess it's time. I need to make an Instagram because then it became no longer just friends and family or friends of friends. Now it was people who didn't know me. So now I needed to look a little bit more official.
Sure.
And so then the Instagram happened. And I only had an Instagram for the first year and a half. And then TikTok and Facebook came after the fact. I was using my personal Facebook for all the bridal pages. I still do,
Sure.
but I always just tell them to follow up on my pages.
How often do you stage? Like, is it based on if the customer? Like
I've
the
only
bride
done
wants to?
one stage
Because
TikTok
they
that
wanted
I
to.
can
They were
even
like
think
really
of.
adamant about doing it, and you're like, all right, we'll do
Yeah.
it.
This weekend, I think I'll be doing a few, but other than that,
So let's talk about this weekend because you're doing a wedding with us this weekend. You two are doing a wedding together, and
She better not get in my way. I'm very
you know what?
demand.
It's so great
the
because
aisle.
I'm glad that you came on for this, Keith, for this exact reason too. But there's multiple things I want to talk about. So 33 weddings, only one so far has staged.
that
And
I can
then-
remember. Yeah.
And then we're doing a wedding this weekend where Keith is the videographer, Kerrianne is doing content, but this bride specifically reached out and said that she wants a handful of TikToks. So there's a couple things I want to get in here. So one, I think it's only going to grow with what their expectations are.
Yeah.
Because just social media in general, and again, as more Gen Zs get married, I think it's just becoming more popular. But I really want your raw tea response, because if you have a conversation beforehand and you want to talk about the immediate or important stuff of what your job description is, if you will, hypothetically, it's got to be something along the lines of that other stuff has to be priorities over doing this stuff first. And you kind of started to talk about that. So can you run that down?
So the way that I look at it is content creation is the umbrella, and then you have all these little things that come underneath of it, and then you have things that come underneath of that. That is where I lie. The soil is the lowest point here, and that's where those planned TikToks, in my opinion, come as a content creator for a few reasons. One, there is not a lot of free time on a wedding day.
Sure.
You could
I
plan
was already thinking that.
everything out by the second, by the minute, and one little thing goes quote unquote wrong or behind, and now your whole day is behind. I have probably done 2 or 3 weddings where there's like 30 minutes of sitting around,
Right.
where the bride actually gets to just chill. And the last thing the bride and the groom, specifically normally the groom, want to do is a planned
stage
TikTok where they have to take 7 takes because they didn't get it on the right beat at the right time. That's a headache. That is something to me that people should do more as a hobby, or hire me for 48 hours, because to me, that's the only realistic way to do all of those things. Also, under that umbrella comes the type of content that we're seeing. And we've talked about this before, where Instagram is different than TikTok, which is different than Facebook, which is different than CapCut, whatever you're finding these days. And I feel like the trends now are the raw footage, behind the scenes, natural, unplanned, in the moment TikToks. And that is what I'm there for.
Yeah.
So Keith expressed concern that as a videographer
I'm
this
joking.
weekend,
I think
he was going to have to and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I don't personally feel like that is the way to go on a wedding day, and no one really knows how it is until they're the bride and they're like, "Oh, wow, she was right or he was right in regards to
It
time and
feels great,
timeline."
doesn't it? It feels great when they're like, "God damn, you were right." You're like,
Yeah.
"I know."
Well, and then also it's when there is that downtime, you are so tired of smiling, your face hurts, you're thirsty, your mouth is
It's a
dry.
long day. You wake
Yeah.
up early, you're getting your makeup thrown on, you're hanging out with people. It goes very quickly.
And I'm
People
all
don't realize.
for the transition TikToks. I'm all for if you follow my personal TikTok, my uncle makes fun of me all the time. I'm like, "But you watched it, so there you
Are they
go."
doing one of those ones where like they're in their pajamas and then they transition to in the bride dress? Like
Yeah, which I think is so cute.
I've seen them. I
But
watch a lot of TikToks.
unless you have me there all day, it's not realistic for me to do that. And that's the thing. Everything is so expensive that brides are having to decide what is more important to them. And I think that's a great way to go about it is what do you want? Because once you put the word wedding in front of anything,
Sure.
it skyrockets the price.
Right.
I think
So
we need to go back for a second
Okay.
because I still want to talk more about you guys doing a wedding this weekend, and there's lots of variables here. But I think we need to go back to the basics of what you Googled when you got asked to do this. Because what is a content creator? And it's a hot topic, especially for someone in my position, in my business, who offers photography and videography. And there's a misconception on a lot of things that, you don't need a videographer, get a content creator. And it's clearly two different things. But like, I just kind of want to hear from a content creator's mouth what you say your job description is in general.
Okay. Well, I actually just had this question asked to me not too long ago. And I didn't know how to give it in like a 2-3 word definition because with me, and again, every content creator is different, just like every
Facts.
photographer and every videographer and every DJ is different. With me, I wear sneakers because I become the person that offers myself up to run back and forth and get bouquets that were left, or the phones, or the
Awesome.
bags, or the buses, or hey, it's freezing outside. You guys all stay on the bus. And when we're ready for you, I'll come back and get you. So I become your personal assistant. I become your personal hype girl because I'm fixing your hair. I'm telling you which angle to turn. I'm telling you where to place your arm. And that to me, I have found is something that brides constantly tell me they really appreciate that I do. And I said this earlier and I'll say it again, but guys do not typically look at those little things. Like, are all the men's hands in their pocket? Do you want them in or out? And before I'm the one making that call, I usually say to whoever I'm working with, like, do you want their hands in or out? And then they'll say whatever the answer is. I also am the one that is fixing the hair, putting the veil in, taking the veil out, bustling dresses. I have literally done it all, but it's so much quicker for me to do it than the maid of honor who's never done it before other than watching a tutorial at the try on for her dress.
Right.
The last and most important piece is I am the person with the phone the entire time. I'm taking short videos, I'm taking clips, and I always say, record whatever. You may think in the moment that it's not good or not going to be used, but in the end, it really does all get used because it's perfect little filler pieces. And you learn that again as you do more weddings on what to take, what not to take, or and I've seen as well as my albums actually get bigger as more weddings go because then I know I need to take several clips of the same thing so that the lighting's right, the timing's right, the speed's right. Sometimes I'm shaking and I don't even realize. And then the same with getting all of those like intimate moments that the bride and groom typically forget happen because of the hustle and bustle of the day. And that to me is like a really important piece is, you don't think you're going to want all this stuff until it's the next day and you're like, oh my God, nobody had their phone, which is a great thing. But that's why I'm there, because then the real masterpieces come a few months, few weeks later, which is that photography and that that videography.
Yeah.
I have so many different thoughts, feelings, opinions about it in general.
Mhm.
And one thing that I think is massive, and we had a pod a couple weeks ago with a photographer, and she essentially said she thinks that they're here to stay. But I liked one thing that she mentioned was it's less pressure on photo and video for that return time, because if they got a content creator, you're giving them the tease, you're giving them the fix they need right after the wedding, and turnaround time is 24 to 48,
They're
something
with
quick,
me,
right?
they're getting all of the raw footage as I'm taking it.
Okay.
I use everything through Apple iCloud. The Apple experts have scolded me on that, but it's the way that I've done it and the way that works for me right now. And maybe as I grow, that'll be something that I look into changing, but they get all that raw footage as I'm taking it. And then the edited stuff comes within 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, so
But I always like to spread it out over the week. Like it's been
teasers
the day after the wedding,
is overwhelming in
you're
general.
like, what just happened as the bride and groom? Again, I've never been a bride or a groom, but I know that
That's a click.
but I know that the next day they're either hungover, exhausted, or ready to go around two for that next after party. They're not appreciating that edited stuff the way that they would 3, 4, 5 days after. So I always spread it all out.
And how many of them are laying on a beach 5 days after that gets that
Yeah.
in that video that's like,
Yeah.
oh.
My favorite is I've gotten a few texts where it's like, we're at our honeymoon right now, like laying by the pool, like cool. And I'm still here in 20-degree Philly, but
Right,
it's
right.
fine. And we just can't stop watching the videos. And I'm like, you're on your honeymoon. You're supposed to be doing whatever you do on a honeymoon. And you're thinking about the videos that I made.
Yeah,
So,
it's amazing.
yeah, it's a cool feeling.
So let's elaborate a little bit more, because again, as someone who offers photo and video and quote unquote content creator, and let me be blunt and honest, and I'll say this on the air. We are predominantly DJ photo video. I don't post about content creator. Maybe I shouldn't as it's growing. Maybe I do. But it's also one of them things where, respectfully, I want them to get the videographer. Is why I don't push the content like I do.
Right.
But if someone asks us, I always say yes. But I think video is so important. I think it's non-negotiable. I do think there's budgets. And I mean, just like anything in this business, you can spend $1,500 or $5,000 on a videographer, more if you will, for your wedding, but quality of what you're getting. But I think it's mandatory that you do something. And for example, this weekend they're doing both, and I absolutely love that. But it's two-way street to me. Like, I don't want them to not get the video, but I also feel like they must absolutely get a content creator if they're not getting video. I just wish everybody got both. Is that so much to, want?
No, I always say, if you can do it, do all three of us.
Sure.
And as someone who loves taking pictures, but also having pictures and video of my own memories, I would push the videography over content. And that's me saying that as a content creator because of my interests and the things that I like. So I definitely think it goes by the type of person you are. For example, my sister, she is the total opposite of me. Shout out middle child. She does not like camera, does not like video. She'll take the pictures, but she's like, I need help posing. I don't want to have that in my face all day.
She married?
Not yet.
Okay. Is she a content creation kind of person, or you're saying absolutely not? That's what you're saying. Okay.
She is not a person that would do planned TikToks, whatever it is. But then this goes back to there are different style content creators,
Sure.
just like videographers. So I specifically know a girl who does content, but she advertises that she does more documentary style content. Her videos are longer than mine would be, but shorter than a videographer's would be. So she falls in that middle ground. That to me is something perfect for someone like my sister. But my sister, I feel, falls in the minority when it comes to type of brides today. And I feel like there's more brides than not that want pictures, videos, pictures, videos, pictures, videos.
All right, Kerr. So how long have you been doing this? 2.5 years now, give or take?
Yep. October will be 3 years.
Okay. So congrats.
Thanks.
But here's a question that I find very interesting. And again, when we had the photographer on a couple weeks ago, shout out to Amanda from Lugstruck, she mentioned this, and I think it's so accurate because let's just do this. Hot topic. Content creators are bringing X to a wedding. And it's all across the board, and this goes back to different styles. But a year and a half ago, I thought content creators brought their iPhone to a wedding. And now I'm seeing, and I know you have a camera now, but what are you bringing? Because I think that's across the board now too. I think a year and a half ago, content creators brought their iPhone, and now today they're bringing cameras and video cameras, and there's a lot more of a business in this of it's not just bringing your iPhone. So
Right.
Elaborate on that.
I am iPhone girly through and through.
Amen.
I typically only bring my digital camera, which is like $100 camera I got off Amazon that I bought originally to start taking out to the bar because I didn't want to bring my really expensive camera out with me. So now I bring it while my phone is charging, because the one downfall of using your phone is that when you're using the magnetic charger and recording, your phone overheats and then it's lagging and then you're missing the stuff. So then that is when I bring in that digital piece and switch out of the iPhone. But to me, content is on the iPhone. You can use a gimbal, no problem,
Sure.
but use it with the iPhone, because to me, now I'm stepping on his toes. And that leaves that like lack of space of like, what's the difference at that point? And there's a huge difference between me and him.
We know each other like on a personal level, like I'll call you my friend if you will. But I also love how blunt and honest you're being, because I'll be frank here, and maybe Keith won't say this, but like I definitely feel like there's photographers and videographers that hate content creators. I feel like it's just, let's just throw it out there. Like it's no joke.
What you gonna say?
But hold on, but hear me out. I don't mean all of them, and I definitely think there's great ones and probably shitty ones, just like there is photo, video, and DJs. But I think things that you've already said today, respectfully, sounds like you stay in your lane, and I think that's so important. And that's why I kind of asked of how much equipment you're bringing, because again, why are content creators bringing a $2,000 camera? Because then why aren't you just making yourself or learning or whatever to be a videographer? Right. And there's a difference in the two. So I really think like you've expressed it 2 or 3 times already about like not stepping on toes or doing this or doing that, and knowing what your job description is. And like, I think anyone that on the vendor side of this that listens to this, like they're all going to love you because you get it. But I also think that there's many situations where we've worked with content creators that I don't know where the ego overnight came from, but I just think some people are just don't understand about staying in lanes. And it's not to discriminate on video or photos. Again, at the same time, for example, this weekend, you guys are one team. The goal is to take care of the client, make the best possible scenarios, pictures, shots that you can get. But I just think there's a lot of unwritten stepping on toes, or it's not talked about, I should say.
I'm going to say this right now, and this goes for every videographer out there and probably photographer as well. If someone is in your shot in any capacity, whether it be photo, someone's in your shot and you're not getting what you want, or video, that you're gonna have an issue with it. Like, bottom line is, I've worked with photographers who are all up and down the aisle, and I may have a shot in the back because I have multiple cameras.
Sure.
And don't get me wrong, I have multiple cameras, so I'm just gonna cut to a safety shot or a different shot. We're gonna make it work. But when you're in that main shot, the one that you want, when someone's in it, which is another reason why working as a team, and I'm not trying to like, plug anything, but when I work with Mary, we work symbiotically. Like, I know where she's going to be, or she'll be like, Keith, like we know where to be and where not to be. And that's the key, which is why I feel like when you work with a team that it's a lot better. Right. A random guy that doesn't care about me at all. He's a photographer. He's there to get his stuff. He's going to be in my shot and he's not going to give an F. It's just the way it is.
I don't know if I mentioned this recently on the pod or not, but I'm starting to say it in consults. Someone said something to me in the past week or two, and I'm like, I think I'm going to start mentioning this in my spiel. I say often, we're known for DJs. I'm honored if we get them for photo and video. Can you book us for DJ and photo or video elsewhere? Yes, of course. But I always say, of course, is it easier working with one team who knows each other and who's not going to get in each other's way or shots? I say that all the time. What I don't say that I'm going to start including in my thing is there's no competition. I don't think anyone's pushing their chest out, trying to be, the point man if we have DJ photo and content on one team, if you will. And I don't think that part of it I ever say, and I think it's very important. I'm still going to say I don't want it to be any competition with any vendors, if you will. But I mean, like you already said, two total strangers. This guy don't care about respect.
He's got to get his shot. He has
his priority is getting his shot. Exactly.
So he's at the end of the day, he's getting paid. He doesn't want a bad review. I completely understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, I can think of an exact wedding I'm thinking about where I had a shot that was in the back, like we were outside, and I wanted this shot down the aisle, and he was like constantly all the way up on him. And it's fine. Like I get it. They want those pictures too. So I want the best for the bride and groom. So whatever gets the best out of everyone, that's really what all vendors should be trying to do.
Well, and to just piggyback off that I love working with photographers or videographers that I've worked with in the past. So for example, Gina had the same videographer.
Shout out to Brian Jenkins.
That Kristen had. And then I was able to recommend that videographer to other brides because he's personable. He didn't know me, but he was hyping my ass up. And then it was like, now we're friends. Now we're following each other. Now he's recommending me. I'm recommending him. And then I start every wedding the way that I do would be, and I'm saying it to you now because I've already worked with Mary, if I'm in your way, tell me to get out of your way.
Right.
Because in the end, it goes back in my mind, they're paying you way more than they're paying me to be there. Right. And that's the legit ass shit. The raw stuff is meant to be messy. It's meant to be, oh shit, I didn't get that shot, but I'll get the next one. It's okay. Right. And that's the point of what there should be no difference between me and a wedding guest filming on their phone at the end of the day. Other than the fact that I'll be allowed to stand in the aisle and a wedding guest shouldn't. But when that one vendor asked me about vendor insurance, I'm like, I'm not getting insurance for me to be using my phone. Because if that's the case, then I'll put on a wedding guest dress and I'll show up at the wedding like I'm a guest and take pictures on my phone. And that to me is what a content creator is. They should be blending in behind the scenes. I know it's a little hard to blend in during the first dance when I'm trying to get all the angles. But for the most part, you guys are the stars, and I'm kind of like your hype girl along with the rest of them.
I think we got a lot of good stuff right there. All I really heard her say was I plugged Brian, and she said, I just recommend him all the time, and she'll never do a wedding with us again. But anyway, no.
Well, actually,
seriously.
I haven't recommended him. I've recommended you guys.
I'm just kidding. Like I said, I love Bri. Bri's awesome videographer.
Well, now I got my boy that works with you, so that's perfect.
Who was on that wedding, too.
Yes.
Shout out to Perko. But I really think
I love
the
Perko.
team,
Believe me.
I mean, he taught him.
I'm going to tell you right now, when my daughters get married, I'm telling them they want Perko to do the wedding. No,
shout out to
no
Perko.
doubt.
Right.
So here's a fun one. What do brides think they're getting that they're not with a content creator? And I mean, again, we only have like an hour, so don't let this go too long. Just kidding.
Well, what do you mean by getting? Like what kind of person they're getting? Because I think they're often surprised when I don't hold back. I feel like that.
Why do you think we invited you to come on the show? No.
My Philly really does come out of me once I get comfortable. And sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes I got to read the room.
I just, again, you could Google what a content creator is in 2026. And it could be so bland's not the word I want to use. Simple, right? But you mentioned like bustling a dress and like that's not in your quote unquote. So
no.
That's where I say like, is there things that you do a lot of unwritten stuff, if you will, that's just part of it. But is there anything that people think or expect you to do that you're kind of like, yo, that's not, and what?
Ceremony footage, mic'd up ceremonies. I don't know what content creator somewhere did it. Somewhere, someone recorded a ceremony, mic'd up, and now people expect content creators to do that. And I'll tell you what, if we have a category of fails as a content creator, this is my fail right there.
I got one more too, because I mean this in the most respectful way. Maybe I take it back if they don't have video. If they have photo and video, respectfully, I feel like you have so much less pressure. If they don't have video, maybe there's a little bit more. But hypothetically, if you miss something on Sunday, you know, Keith got it. So, but again, it's a little different if they don't. But I just feel like in what you just said, you shouldn't have as much pressure for your whole day as he does, if you will. If he misses that shot, and we're talking ceremony, so let's be more specific with ceremonies. Like, that's all big prime time, like you can't miss stuff that
it only happens once.
For photo and video, you openly admit it's completely different. And
Absolutely.
We'll say it's an art. That's the best way to put it. My question to you is, I feel as though what people are paying for a content creator, you shouldn't be so responsible for that big moment kind of thing in your job description of like, that's some like next level stuff where like, I got my phone, I'm going to take the best I can, but your expectations also shouldn't be the same as the videographer and as the content. That's probably the way I'm trying to say it.
Yeah. So can I tell a quick story?
Sure.
So
can I tell you what this topic says? Boom. Go ahead.
Well, there we go.
The tea.
So this is shade on myself. Okay. The tea is on me.
I love
because
this.
I'm drinking tea.
I love that for you because I hate tea. I love tea, but not tea. So I feel like they should be spelled different, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, I worked my first very intimate wedding. By intimate, I mean there were 39 people, including the bride and groom. And if they listen to this, they will know that I'm talking about them.
They're my favorite, but let's go.
But listen, they were more than patient with me. Me, full panic, full anxiety attack, while the wedding's happening, while we're in this small ass, tight ass restaurant, which was so beautiful, by the way, but not for someone who was full blown panic, who accidentally deleted the ceremony. 17 minutes.
You told me some of this story already, but go ahead.
Immediate tears. I'm like, oh my God.
You called like
I
Apple?
Called Apple.
Yeah, you told me this.
I called Apple. Shout out Apple. This is why I will never stir away from them.
This is why the cloud is forever for me.
The video saved to the cloud and I got it back. But guess what it didn't have?
The audio.
The audio.
The audio.
Because the mini mics were not on. Didn't matter how many times I practiced. I bought a tripod. I already had the mini mics, which I've used them, but never for something serious like this. It was the worst fail me as a person and as a content creator have ever had, because I'm going through the list of things that me as a person would be thinking, and now me as a content creator are thinking, and they hate each other. Because my conscience is like, Kerrianne, it'll be fine, it'll be okay. But then the anxiety attack in me is like, you're a fucking idiot. How did you manage this to happen? And there's no audio. You shouldn't have even agreed to do this. But guys, it all worked out because I had them record their ceremony later. And then I edited the crap out of that video, and all is well in love and war.
Two things come to mind when I say this. When she says no audio, all I'm thinking of is, it's a beautiful night. I'm just thinking what song you're putting over that whole thing instead. I had this happen once. Completely irrelevant story. The Madison down the street from my house. They have a house system. The videographer set up the house system. I lied, excuse me. They have a house system for a microphone. I hand the videographer the connection into our system. And then they're like, oh, we have a house mic. I'm like, oh, perfect. We use the house mic. The whole ceremony is used on the house mic. The videographer set up to my setup, aka he never got any of the audio, and the same exact thing. We noticed it during cocktail, and we literally did the entire thing in the other room. I was the officiant, so like I literally said everything needed so he could do this later on. But yeah, it's in that moment you're like, holy fucking shit.
So sorry, if
it's
you're
a rite
looking
of
for a
passage.
ceremony recording, don't come to me. Don't come to Content by Kerr because
It's a-
I will never do that.
Listen, I'm going to
again.
tell you, as a videographer, it's a rite of passage to mess something up because it's going to happen no matter what. You know how many times
He's scared of deleting something today that was done a year ago and they got it 9 months ago, and he's still afraid to delete it.
100%.
I'm on your side on this one,
I don't-
figuratively and literally.
I have stuff on my for a year ago that just in case, and that's how crazy I am. And I have it on a card, then I have it on a hard drive, and stuff happens. I
Well-
almost lost a whole hard drive of a wedding where it broke, and I rigged it together with like this little thing, and I got it in there, and I got all the footage off, and then the hard drive never worked again. It was like, by the grace of God, I saved this. Can you imagine just losing the entire wedding? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what it would do. You know how many times I forgot to hit the button? Shout out to Jim, who was on the pod the other day. I get up there, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to hit the button. He's like, I'm randomly recording this for no reason at all because he's Jim. Like,
He's like, I got you.
gives me the file, and like, I have it's just, I've been saved so many times.
Yeah.
A lot of videography is just fixing a mess up, and truly honest.
But you're a videographer.
Yeah.
That was it for me.
Right.
All I had was my phone.
I know.
So this bride and groom did not know me. And the reason they found me is because, God bless them, the photographer recommended me. So now I'm like, not only am I making myself look bad,
Now you're
but I'm making
mortified,
him look bad. But we fixed it. They were more than patient with me. Now I get messages that I'm a rock star. And
It's the best feeling in the world, ain't
you know what? I had an angel on my side that day, but I will never do that again. So if you want your ceremony recorded, book Keith.
I feel like I don't want to downplay it. Your title, your job, but it's such a. Now, did this wedding have video? I'm gonna guess no. That's huge.
There goes the pressure.
But I can't explain it. A part of me wants to be almost like, I almost feel like, maybe this is a sales tip for you. I almost feel like when you inquire with someone, your first question should be, do you have photo and video? And if they do, I almost want to say you charge 15% less. And if they don't, you charge 50, because, and this goes back to the ceremony, you were it. If you didn't get it, they don't have it. That should be a higher tier price tag than if they have photo and video.
And I did warn them. I told them that I had never did this before, but that doesn't matter.
No, sure.
Because it's your wedding day. At the end of the day, it only happens most of the time one time. And if it doesn't, you're not going as big as you did the first time around. And my thing is like, you want that OG moment. I get it. And that is why I have said, I just recently worked with or booked a bride, and she told me she wanted ceremony. Like, listen, been there, done that.
Did you tell her the story?
I just said, been there, done that, major fail, never doing it again.
Okay.
And she left. And I said, you know what? If you want to hold off on booking me and think about it a little bit more, please, by all means, do so. Because it is a big decision. And again, somewhere, someone started doing that as a content creator, and now you're raising that bar for me, and I need the bar to be low so that I look better.
I think I asked you this, but I want to just clarify it. Do you go into a wedding less stressful when you know there's a video and photo team?
Absolutely.
Okay. It makes sense. I just figured to ask. How about this one? What's something that happens at every wedding that no one talks about? Anything that pops out to you?
The content creator or just in general?
Either or, I'll take it.
I would say the MC messing up the entrances always happens. And then they're saying their names, but there's like the mother of the groom is not actually coming out, and it's still grandma.
Can we clarify as you're looking at me? This wasn't me that did this?
I was about to
It was
say.
you. No,
It
I'm just
was?
kidding. No,
When you first said it, I was like, did I do this?
no, I'm looking at you because you're MC Harry.
Yeah, sure.
No, it has happened at more weddings than I can count. And it doesn't, and that is exactly what I mean. You can plan something down to the second, but we are all human. People make mistakes, things happen, shit goes on, and it's not ruining the day, and that's all that matters.
All I heard was no one Gen Z. I thought she was going to say down to the T, but nobody says that anymore.
No, I almost said that, but
oh man, I was like,
well, I almost said down to the T, but on a wedding day, it has to be down to the second because there's timelines and things get fucked up, and then brides are going crazy. Also,
I'm here for
another one that I have found that I live for because, again, I love the tea. There's always some secret vendetta between either like the bride and the mother-in-law, or like the sister of the bride and the sister of the groom.
They're my absolute favorite.
Oh, and I love it because because I'm behind the scenes, I catch all the dirty looks, I catch the eye rolls, I catch it all. And again, there's the Philly in me. I'm like, who are we fighting? Who are we fighting later? Please let me know.
From your aspect of everything you just said, I'd be like, I'm going to get this on camera when they go at it.
Oh, there's been times where I get it by accident. And like, I always like to like quick, like relook at stuff. And I'm like, guys, look at her face. And they're all like, oh my God, you have to watch yourself. I'm like, this is great.
There's always a ghetto cousin though, right? That's doing something they're not supposed to.
That makes me think of never mind.
I think I have a few of those.
You know where I was going?
Where?
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
That one.
So, but I always say that your family's not normal if you don't have some sort of drama in the family. So, and don't act like you don't because you do.
Sure. What's one thing that instantly makes a wedding more luxurious on camera? Is there anything that you do specifically to spice up or make anything look fancier when you're doing these videos?
I love my travel light. Okay, so I guess that's another thing that I bring with me. Sorry, I lied, guys.
She's going to need that insurance soon.
Blinded by the light. I love my travel light that you can just hold and it gets real bright and it brings out the sparkle. It brings out the shine in any like stretch satin dress, even in the bridesmaids dresses, the glitter of the makeup, like all of those things, I think just make a video so much better. And then that's less editing on my end. Like I don't need the filters. I don't need all that stuff. And honestly, if you're getting your hair and makeup done on your wedding day, you better not be needing filters for stuff like that because you're paying those people too. So
they're applying the filters in real time.
Yeah, exactly. Should be enough. Full coverage all the way, always.
I'm curious how you answer this one.
Uh-oh.
Who should book a content creator?
The bride. Unless it's a surprise. Unless I've had a few. Actually, I have a wedding in June that I had reached out to you about at Icona because you guys are a preferred vendor there. And she said she wanted to surprise her daughter with a content creator. I'm like, well, how do you know she didn't book one? But I think she's going to tell her like soon if she didn't already. But yeah, I think the bride. Because I'm with the bride. I'm very, very rarely with the groom.
Here's another one for you. And I'm going to give you all this free advice today. I always talk about photographers. I always mention they must be fun, upbeat, spunky, all these things, right? Why is that doing that?
It's your computer.
I always mention that the photographer must vibe with the bride. It's non-negotiable. They must click. I think it's 10 times more for you. When I talk about video, I literally say throw that all in the trash. They're the ninja. They're behind the wall. They're the fly on the wall. They take it as a go.
Behind the wall.
Photographer.
They're missing everything. They're behind the wall.
I meant to
they're on the front lines.
On the front lines. I meant to say they're behind the scenes. They're the ninjas. They're the fly on the wall. Photo, you must vibe. They are taking all these pictures, etc. But you're their shadow. So like, I think it's times 10 for you. Like, here's a new sales pitch for you. Like, you need to vibe with me more than your photographer does. Like, you are literally their shadow. It also goes back to the love-hate relationship for you with photo and video, because in 2 or 3 more years, I think you guys will get less hate because it's just going to be an industry standard and still a new thing. But for the photographers and videographers, I also think you are helping the bustles and the hair and all that shit that they now can maybe do a little less of. So
Yeah.
I definitely think there's a lot of things that are a lot of positives that are going to come out of it. I just think it's also still a learning process for so many people that haven't done it yet, haven't seen it yet, etc.
Right. I think another thing, though, that is important to note is that most of the time, people who are getting content creators are not shy in front of the camera, at least in my experience.
I would say that that's a good, because an introvert's not going to be like, yo, we want to be
You were
on
talking
social
about
media.
this, and the whole time in the back of my head, I was thinking about Amanda and my fiance, and she hates her picture taken. She has high anxiety, the whole nine, and she enjoys making videos, CapCut, doing things, but not of herself.
Right.
And as you were talking about your sister, I was already thinking, like, there's no shot I think she would do it for that exact
Right.
reason, just because it's not her bag.
Right. Well, and I send my sister TikToks because I'm now on wedding TikTok because I've been doing a lot of
Sure,
research
it's
because
just
I'm
one
her
of
maid of
them,
honor and I'm a content creator. And she's like, have fun doing those.
She have
Like,
more vendors booked yet?
she does.
Oh, okay.
We talked about
Okay,
this.
just
We
keep
talked
going,
about
keep
this.
going.
It's a family friend who's the DJ. And then
Is there a family friend photographer and videographer?
I don't
too?
know who's doing her
All right.
photography.
Anyway, next story. I'm
Listen,
just kidding.
I recommend
I
you.
know you
I'll
did.
pull
I'm
up the
just
text.
messing. I'm messing.
Where's my sister at?
I
But
know.
she'll say, have fun doing those. That's what she says to me because she doesn't want to be in the TikToks and in the stuff, but she would love if I made stuff for her.
For her wedding, that's not 24/7 her.
Correct.
Like,
Correct. And also her fiance, he'd be like, get that phone out of my face. But back to like vibing, I feel that I am a person that doesn't hold back.
Can I say this with the
Crickets.
Can I say this with the utmost respect? I agree with you, and I feel like I know you well enough to say this, that there's no middle with you. People probably love you or hate you, and there's no middle. So.
And that's why I made a comment earlier about reading the room.
Yeah,
because sometimes I'm talking too much and sometimes I'm filling the awkward voids of silence. And people appreciate that. And then they'll comment about how personable I was. Thankfully, knock on wood, I've not received any negative feedback about my personality so far, but I have gotten a few dirty looks, which I catch and I'm like, damn, I probably shouldn't have said that. But it's just my personality comes out of me and I'm comfortable and it's a personal day. I'm crying at your first look with your husband and your father or whoever. And I'm crying at the maid of honor speech and the best man speech. So you know what? You're getting all of me that day.
You're crushing our timeline right now. Do you know what the next question says?
No.
Most emotional moment for you.
God.
And you just talked about getting emotional at a, ceremony.
Oh God. Yeah.
You got one that sticks out or no?
Like a specific wedding?
Sure.
Yeah, my cousin. So it was the first and only wedding that I've done where I was her content creator in the morning. And then I was a wedding guest. And then I still kind of did some stuff on the dance floor. But there's something about, I'm going to get emotional right now.
Do it. Do it.
There's something.
It says in here, if she cries, it's going to be better for the views.
I'm tearing
I'm
up.
just kidding.
There's something so crazy about like watching someone that you grew up with, like marry their person. And I don't have that right now. And hopefully one day I do. But like I always say, like I love love. And that's why this job doesn't feel like a job to me. And shout out Annalise and Alex. They were like the first family wedding that I ever did.
Please cry.
And no, and it really was. And you can ask her, I was emotional wreck on that day. And like, I just loved every step. My face was hurting from just smiling so much. And then the speeches just cry. And the first look, cry. And the vows, cry. Like everything I just cried at all day long. And I got to get my hair and makeup done with the bridesmaids since I was there all day. I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I can't show up looking like a bum to the wedding. So that would definitely be like my top most emotional moment, but it was a little bit of a different scenario.
Yeah, especially when you know them and their family.
Yeah, but I'm always tearing up. The most recent wedding I did, I had full-blown, a wedding guest handed me a tissue because I was full-blown crying behind my phone, but then my phone's shaking and I'm like, Kerrianne, get it together. Like, so.
I like this one. What's one thing that always goes wrong? I like this question.
My coffee melting. Never get to drink it in time. No. Always goes wrong.
Can I answer this for you while you think for a second? Because when I read that, you know what I think of? Something. Doesn't matter. Something goes wrong. If I have friends that I personally know and I like talk to them or maybe text them the morning of, I literally text them, and I think I've actually said this on the pod before. I text them, something's going to go wrong today.
Yeah.
Do not sweat the small shit. It's going to happen. Roll with the punches. It's all you can do. Like it's literally just inevitable, I feel like. And sometimes it could be something as so dumb as like
the dip.
Like what kind of dip?
Like on the walkout.
Okay, I didn't know if we were talking about like chips and dip or
that's
dip.
I bring onion dip with me.
That's why I was like, what are we talking about here?
On the walkout. It's just such an awkward thing. On the walkout, now you're stopped. Now you're twisting. Now you're dipping. The groom, it's just a lot. But it's always a beautiful picture.
But I also feel like maybe it's a beautiful picture. 70% of the time, it doesn't look like that movie like you think it's going.
No, not at all.
It's always, I feel like it's a tough thing to get for video too, because you're walking backwards. You don't know if there's people behind you.
Yeah.
I have a gimbal, so I'm like trying not to fall over, and then they go in for the dip, and I have to like push it forward. I'm like, it's always awkward. But again, it does look cool when you nail it. It looks awesome.
Speaking of backing up, have you tripped on the bouquets that lay on the floor? Because that just happened to me 2 or 3 weeks ago.
You have video of that?
No, thank God.
I don't
because
think I've fallen or tripped.
I didn't fall.
But no,
I caught
I
myself.
thought you fell.
Oh no, that I would literally never be a content creator again. If I fell over a bouquet, that's it for me. I quit. I've retired. But I did. It was the first time. I've never tripped over a person next to me. Like if I'm sharing the aisle with like you and a photographer.
Yeah.
But I just recently tripped on the bouquet, and I was like, wow, that could have been really bad. But it wasn't, thank God. But I was just curious.
I'm gonna fall eventually. I haven't yet. I just know it. I'm just waiting for it.
No joke. More for video than photo, in my opinion. I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, because you're right. The photo, you're not really like kind of like walking backwards while you're shooting. You are.
Yeah.
Whereas video, you're trying to like capture that kind of walk. It's
sort of like getting off the ski lift. Have you ever skied or snowboarded?
Yeah.
It is the most awkward, uncomfortable. You're worried about the person next to you, and somehow you still struggle, even though you're so worried about your surroundings.
Yeah.
That's what happens. That's a good analogy, actually.
What's something that you can give advice to for brides?
If you're planning a wedding, I think that you need to make a list. You make a list, and then you make the priority list, like your first draft and your second draft. Think of your wedding as an essay. You need to pick your top points, your top picks for what you must have at your wedding day. And then you filter in the other stuff later. So don't follow the social media trends or what you're seeing is like most popular, because at the end of the day, it's you and your significant other's day. And it's for you guys. It's all about you. So it's what you guys love. And because everyone there will love you, hopefully, they'll love whatever it is. So I think that would be my one thing would be to make the list and then prioritize it and prioritize yourself and your significant other.
I love that.
I do too. To piggyback off that, I feel like you get engaged and like you have friends that are married and everyone has their opinion. And when you have kids, it's going to be the same thing because everyone wants to tell you how to like help your baby grow. And same thing. You can take and listen to all the opinions, but you don't have to do anything anyone tells you. It's your day. And that's just so important to, really focus on.
Right. And I will end with, I guess we'll end with this. I am very proud of my sister because she is not a planner. She is not type A like I am, but she has been on her A game with the planning.
A game?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Down to the T, right?
Big time.
Yeah. That's good.
And I was saying to her, like, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And she's like, I have it under control. And I'm like, you know what? I got to back off of her. And I think because I was so excited that her and I were having something in common, truly, because I work in this field part-time, I got excited. But I'm also excited for her and her fiance. But I'm like, that's something that's really hard to do as someone who's not a planner. And to think that far out in months in advance adds even more pressure onto it.
Not to plug us again, shout out to In the Mix event group, but it goes along with why I think we're doing our job and having multiple vendors, and we make things easier for people to be able to get a bunch of stuff and not have so much overwhelming stuff to book with 5-6 different companies.
Right.
Were you going to say something, Keith?
I actually didn't have anything specific. I was just kind of taking.
I thought I was going to cut. I thought you were going to cut me off again.
Oh, I should have. Damn it, missed an opportunity.
Well, I cut you off in this one, I think, at one point. So I'll get the next hated comments. Hopefully, they don't come at my double chin. They'll probably come at the Philly accent, though.
Shout out to Northeast. Where are you from?
Northeast Philly.
Summerton? Where are you from?
Parkwood.
I feel like as long as you don't have a dental accent.
Where I grew up.
I'm embarrassed. I just said that.
I'm embarrassed for you that you just did that, to be honest.
But now I live in South Philly, so it's even better. But people just point me out immediately. They're like, "You're not from here." I'm like,
"Yeah." I mean, there's a big difference from a Northeast to a South Philly accent.
Well, I'm not Italian.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't got that spice to me.
Fair. Kerrianne, appreciate you coming on.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Shedding some light on the content creator.
Yes.
Excited to see you and Keith and what you guys put together for some work on Sunday. And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Thanks for coming
Follow
on.
Content by Kerrianne and In the Mix event group.
You heard her, guys. We're out of here.